I'm running on way less energy lately, so I've really had to double down on what I do to attract clients while working less. And the key to doing this is really to be intentional with your time in general and with your content and messaging specifically. Hi, I'm Marion Gretes, MSc. I help service-based business owners grow the business in a way that feels good, no hustle, no chaos, so they can have more space in the calendar without sacrificing the depth of their work or their income. I'm currently 26 weeks pregnant with my first baby, and this video is part of a series of what I'm doing to prepare my business before I go for maternity leave here in the UK. Protein smoothie. The end isn't great. In the past, I fell into the trap that is so common for so many service-based spiritual entrepreneurs, which is to over-explain ourselves. I wasn't really sure exactly how to introduce my words, my work. I was feeling a bit awkward when doing so. Mixing energy and strategy isn't really your typical job. So because I had this fear of being judged and because I wasn't sure which words would resonate with people, I had a tendency to over-explain myself and to really tailor any piece of content or any conversation I had with a potential client to their exact specific situation to make sure that they really understood what I did. That resulted in a lot of words. I was providing very wordy descriptions, which were actually a bit vague because I wasn't specific enough in what I was sharing. I felt the need to be everywhere. I was really focused on a quantity approach versus a quality approach when it comes to content, where I felt like I had to post on Facebook, on Instagram, and do emails and do blogs, and I've had a few podcasts. It was a lot. It was really overwhelming. It was not a good, sustainable way to run my business because it was just throwing a lot of spaghetti at many walls and hoping to see what stick. Now, in business, you do have some amount of spaghetti throwing to do, some amount of experimenting to do, but that was taking it a bit too far to the point where I was spreading my energy too thin. And actually, when it was working, when I was attracting clients, they would be clients who would come for problem X or problem Z or problem T. There would be such different clients with such different problems, and I felt the need to accept all of them because a girl gotta pay the bill and all that, and obviously certain amount of experimentation, but then you need to go into pattern finding mode, which is what I love doing, and find what really helped you get clients, but which kind of clients you like actually helping, which kind of problem you like solving, and really getting clear on that and doing more of what works is a game changer when it comes to business. So now I do things differently. I've experimented, I've gotten clear on what my work is about. I've really refined my messaging, which means that I don't feel the need to be everywhere. I know that when I post out a piece of content, it's not perfect, it will never be, but it is clear enough so that the people who are meant to be working with me recognize themselves. It is specific enough that people go from, okay, like in the past, and that's something that happens with a lot of my current clients, people will see a post and they will be like, oh, you're so inspiring, I love what you're doing. And I certainly used to get a lot of those messages, and then I had absolutely no signups. Nobody was booking my services. When I changed my messaging, and I will go into more details about how to do that in the next minute, it really made a huge difference because now people get it quickly. It's specific, it's clear enough, and people can self-identify to, yes, this is for me, or no, this isn't for me. Once more, it isn't about perfection. It's always a learning curve. That's what you sign up while you decided to have a business. So did I. But it's very, very different in how specific and also how fast I can now talk about my work and put out content that doesn't take me hours and hours like it used to be. And when you can kind of tune in and create a piece of content in 15-30 minutes and put it out into the world and have the results and the sales that you want out of it, it is an amazing feeling because it feels like you have the magic formula at the tip of your finger. And of course, there isn't one specific magic formula. There is a lot of trial and error, like I talked about, but there is also a few key concepts to get in terms of marketing and messaging to make this a reality for you too. So there is a difference between what your people want and what your people need from your work. And your messaging is here to point people to the door of what they want. Once they're in your shop, metaphorical shop, you will give them the service, and having a conversation or working with them, you will give them what they need, because it's not just about solving the one problem. I know it's not about just creating an online course so you can scale your hours, or automating, adopting a software so you can schedule your client appointment for easily. It's not, my work isn't just about that, but by talking about those different specific aspects of my client's life, I get them to be interested in the work I do. So as I've said, I really see messaging as like the door to come into your world, or what you would put in the window if you had a physical shop, just to attract people in, and then you do your magic. So your messaging does not have to encompass everything, but it has to be specific enough so that it speaks to people, and people can recognize their problems and also the solution that you provide and how different it is from other people's solution. So messaging really, although it's very strategy based, I really see it as an energetic container for your work. It points people to the door. And when you do that, when you land on good positioning, good messaging, it really reduces your need to show up constantly, because instead of having 300 different topics you can help people with, you specialize in one thing and you talk about this one thing. First of all, it will be so much clearer for your people in your audience to understand what you do. They will be able to go, yes, this person does that. And they will know that you can help them or not, and they will be able to refer you to more opportunities as well. So we're really moving from a quantity approach of like trying to cover everything, trying to be everything for everyone, which is not good for your business in so many ways, to having a qualitative approach of, this is what I do, this is what I stand for, this is who I work with, this is my work, and you can take it or leave it. But this clarity, my friend, is really what sells. To give you an example, I used to offer one-on-one life coaching sessions, which were called Get What You Want sessions, where I would tell people that, I empower you to, or I'll help you to get what you want in life. And while that was true, it was also so vague. Now that I have refined that to actually, I will help you get clients without burning out. I will help you scale past one-on-one sessions without sacrificing your income. I'm still helping people who want something, which is a balanced life and business, but I'm way more specific. Once more, specificity is what makes people get their credit card out to pay you. Clarity also means that it's going to be so much easier for you to create content, instead of taking you, 2 hours or 3 hours to, channel your post for the day and know what you're going to talk about this week. You know exactly what your clients' problems are and how to address them, and how to create content around that will move them into taking action. And because you're clear on your messaging, it will give you so many different ideas of content and how to speak about your work that is surrounding the same theme. So instead of having lots of different themes, lots of different ideas spread thin everywhere, you have a few key problems that you're helping your audience with, and you create content around those, which means that there is a lot of clarity on everybody's side, but it also means that there is repetition. And repetition is so key for good marketing. It creates safety for your audience, because nowadays we are literally bombarded and overwhelmed with so many different pieces of information, pieces of content, insights, ads everywhere on a daily basis. If you want people to notice you, you have to repeat yourself. That is a non-negotiable. Now, it doesn't mean saying exactly the same thing in exactly the same way day after day. That would be boring. That would be boring for me, especially. I hate doing this. But as I said, it means covering lots of different topics from a slightly different angle, and connecting your work with your daily life and telling stories. And I have a whole workshop about this where it's free to do exactly this, how to find the words to describe your work in a way that doesn't feel awkward, in a way that gets people to actually book your services. And we see all of this. There's like it's a 2.5 hour workshop, and then you also have a workbook that breaks down everything we see in the workshop so you implement straight away. I hate courses where you leave with more information and you don't really know how to apply it to your business. This is not how I do things. You will leave with a clear understanding of what messaging is, and more importantly, with how to introduce your work in a way that works, and how to create content faster than you could dream of. If you are interested, you can check out the link in the comment below. Another very important piece to making sure that you scale your business without burning out is your offer designs, how you set up your business model so you're not always trading time for money, seeing one-on-one clients all the time. And this is in the next video.